Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 16 of What If Naruto Was the Red X. If you guys enjoyed this What If, and want to see part 17 of it, comment down below, and let me know. And go ahead and check out other What Ifs in the channel. Before we start, please do support for more awesome content. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, and also share this video with your friends. So let's start this video. Jump City. Jinx slowly looked out the door of Snake's home with a frown, having spent the night with her father figure, a bag over one shoulder with some of the stuff he got for Donnie. Behind her is the set black-haired girl, her hands stuffed into the pockets of her hooded sweatshirt. "What are you watching for?" Donnie asks with a frown, and Jinx gives her an annoyed look. "Unlike you, I can't become invisible. People will notice a criminal just walking down the street." Jinx grumbles before reaching to her left wrist, revealing something in a similar design to a watch, which she presses down on a screen. Seconds later, Donnie watches, as Jinx's form seems to shimmer before altering into a disguise. The older teen now has black hair rather than pink, and hanging down to her shoulders, the slits in her eyes are gone, and now replaced by normal pupils. Her skin is now a very deep tan complexion. But the triangular tattoos on her cheeks still remain, with added black tattoos beside of her eyes and deep blackberry-colored lips. The girl also wears a new outfit, which starts off with her choker collar, a black tube top with a blue bikini-like top over that wrapped around her back, a silver chain holding it up around her neck, leaving her shoulders completely bare. Her right hand and forearm was covered by blue-black bandages. Her old blue and black stockings were still present, only with a pair of black sneakers with blue toes and spots on the sides. Then was a black skirt as usual, only slightly longer than normal, and with tattered edges. And with a silver belt around her waist with chains arching over each hip from it. "What's with the costume change?" Donnie suddenly asked, and Jinx, more like Jill Manx, Donnie inwardly corrects, gives her a look. "Is developed a holographic device, so we could walk out in public." Jinx explains, then rubs her chin for a moment. "However, this outfit is actually what I want my new costume to look like. My mother was from East India, and I was kind of trying to look the part." Jinx admits with a slight blush, before turning and making her way in the direction of the Tartarus HQ, following after her. Donnie looks her over critically, and hums for a moment before smirking. "It also shows off your figure," she notes, and Jinx gives her an annoyed look as Donnie places her hands back into her pockets. "Just saying," she offers as Jinx huffs, wondering what she did to deserve this, then sighing as she remembered stealing from a priest once when she was hungry. Ignoring Donnie's comment, the disguised Pincat mumbles something under her breath as they head further through Jump City. Looking back at the girl, Jinx crunches her nose up for a moment before smirking. "Jealous?" she asks, and Donnie blinks before giving a look to the girl. "Considering I'm a clone of a teenage boy, I find looking even as feminine as I do a godsend." Donnie replies, having once feared she'd look more masculine, though was pleasantly, and happily, surprised she actually didn't. "Well, I guess I can understand that." Jinx admits with a frown as they come to a stop at a crosswalk. "Say, your mom's East Indian, so what about your dad?" Donnie asks, and Jinx rolls her eyes. "Don't know, all I know is his name was Manx, and that he's where I get the slant to my eyes." Jinx offers, and Donnie scrunches up her nose before sighing. "Okay. So why did you become a thief?" Donnie then asks, and Jinx looks at her for a moment before sighing. "I'm bad luck, there's not much else I could do when you think about it." She reminds, and Donnie scoffs while crossing her arms. "That's an excuse," she insists, and Jinx shakes her head. "Also, I lived on the streets all my life. I'm more streetwise than a fourth of my team, and I've always had a guy like Snake as my role model." Jinx then reminds, and Donnie frowns before shrugging, seeing how being a thief wouldn't really be too hard for her in that way. "You?" Jinx then asks, and Donnie bites her lip for a moment. "I want to be myself," she admits, and sees Jinx raise a brow. "I'm a clone. Whenever people compare me to my dad, I feel like nothing but his shadow. I look like him, and I'm part of him, but I'm different. But having people compare me to him, always being asked what I want to do as a hero, how I'll help him or take over for him, it always makes it sound like I don't have a choice," Donnie says, and Jinx rubs the back of her neck, seeing why Donnie didn't like her first explanation now. "So?" Jinx asks, and Donnie sighs once more. "The one who made me, he was a manipulative bastard. He was evil, and a major enemy of my bio dad. My bio dad, he's a hero, and everyone knows it. Me, I'm just trying to be me. To find my own path in life, let someone else put a damn label on me. And personally, I like being a thief, and I'm good at it." Donnie dazes with a nod of her head, arms crossed, and Jinx sees a bit of Naruto in the girl. "You love our leader, he's the exact same way," she subtly states, and a smirk spreads over the girl's lips. "No thanks, I think he has too many girls in love with him already," she says playfully before laughing and running from an annoyed and blushing Jinx, as she playfully chases after her little sister. Titan's Tower. Naruto was scowling, deeply scowling at this point, as he stood next to Raven as they rode the elevator up to get to the Ops Center, a common room. Inwardly, the blonde former nin had to wonder one thing: how the hell Raven managed to convince him to actually do this. "Tell me why I agreed to come here again." Naruto asks with a twitch, and Raven took a mock thoughtful expression. Because I asked you to. She offers while sounding surprising, playful and making Naruto grunt. I hate that I can't say no to you. He mutters and Raven rolls her eyes before patting him on the back. Then again, it could be worse. He admits as the elevator opens and Raven walks into a hall, Naruto following behind her. So I guess my interrogation will be a public affair. Naruto notes blandly, and Raven gives him a look, before rolling her eyes, knowing Naruto and his odd mannerisms by now. It's not an interrogation. She states and Naruto frowns for a moment. With the kid, an interrogation is almost assured, babe. Naruto retorts and Raven raises a finger to argue, but Naruto beats her to the punch. His teacher, Batman, he holds guys over the sides of buildings before dropping and catching them at the last second. I know for a fact the kid had to learn a little something from him. Naruto states and Raven shudders, having only known rumors about Batman. It was slightly frightening to hear what one of his methods were. Shaking her head, Raven leads Naruto into the common room, and they both see the boy wonder sitting in front of a computer, watching the screen silently. Where were the other key titans? Naruto starts to say only to quickly correct himself, Raven shrugging while Robin got up and turned to them. The others went out for pizza. Robin replies and Naruto frowns slightly, before crossing his arms behind his head. Alright, so what do you want to know then? Naruto asks the boy wonder, Robin promptly turning and typing on the computer, bringing up pictures of Sasuke, Kakashi, and Sakura on the Titan's TV, which apparently also doubled as a monitor, explaining why it was so fucking big. These three ninja have been spotted in the city. The girl and the one with the mask both wear a spiral leaf-shaped symbol, while the other one could somehow generate lightning, and carried a sword, and was supposed to have an ability called the Sharingan, but we couldn't figure out what that meant. Robin explains and Naruto rolls his eyes while walking over to the black-haired teen, Raven, making her way to get some herbal tea. What I want to know is if you're familiar with these three, and if any of your contacts might know if they have any accomplices. Robin replies and Naruto reaches up to rub his chin, wondering how he'll make his explanation sound. Alright, let's see here. That symbol that those two wear is the symbol of the hidden village Konohagakure no Sato, or the village hidden in the leaves. The black-haired kid is one of Konoha's elite Uchiha clan. However, that same clan was very nearly wiped out about 10 or so years back, leaving only 3 members left at the time. Sasuke, if I remember his name correctly, was told his brother killed the clan. He became an avenger and eventually killed him, only to learn that it was someone else who was the cause of his family's death, and went to kill him next. Last I heard he was still obsessed. Naruto explained and saw a deep scowl on Robin's face for one reason or another. He thinks he's some kind of an avenger. More like a fool. All he did was become as bad as the one who destroyed his family. Robin states and Naruto nods his head before cracking his neck. Alright, what about that Sharingan thing? What is it supposed to do? Robin then questions and Naruto hums in thought for a few moments. The Sharingan or mirror wheel eye, when activated, is able to instantaneously copy any technique that it sees. The ability itself is actually more of a genetic mutation in the eyes, referred to by shinobi as a Dujutsu Kekkei Genkai or eye technique bloodline limit. It gives him a photographic memory as well as increased reaction time, also allowing him to see much quicker than normal. He activates it by using a special form of energy that all ninja of Konoha learn, known to them as chakra. It also has several stages of release. The normal 3 stages are beginner, intermediate, and expert, thus placing a Tomo into the eye for each stage. The 4th stage or Mangekyo is activated by killing your best friend, granting some special abilities, but makes your start to go blind. And the final stage of the eye is achieved by using the eye of a relative. Naruto replies and then sees a look of shock and horror etched onto Robin's face. How far is Sasuke's eye long? Robin asks and Naruto frowns. Mangekyo. He can't use his Sharingan excessively anymore, or he'll go blind. He activated it by killing his older brother. Naruto replies and sees a snarl form over Robin's face. That guy is no man, and that bloodline should be destroyed and forgotten. Robin growls out and Naruto nods his head. I always thought of the Sharingan as a thief's tool, just watching and stealing the hard-learned techniques of others for themselves. But in all actuality, a thief who steals something works harder at what he does than the Uchiha clan with their eye. Naruto says and Robin grudgingly nods his head in agreement with the blonde. Alright. As far as I'm concerned, Superman can lock this guy up in the Phantom Zone, and then smash the projector. Robin growls out and Naruto makes a note to ask Raven what the Phantom Zone was, and if she thought it could hold Sasuke. But what about the other two? Robin questions and Naruto grimaces. Also residents of Konoha. Hatake Kakashi is the silver-haired man. He's a Jonin, or high ninja, one of the higher ranks. He also has the Sharingan eye, and it's Mangekyo level. However, he didn't kill his best friend. The guilt from watching him die in front of him, and being unable to help him, his sensei, or his last remaining teammate over the years, caused it to activate. His eye allows him to warp things into a pocket dimension. He is also always 2 hours late to meetings, a pervert who reads a book called Ichigo Paradise, and has both copied and mastered 1,000 techniques. Naruto explains and sees a grimace form over Robin's face, then frown in thought. Alright, that's 2 down, now what about that one with pink hair? She seemed to know you personally, and Raven really didn't like her. Robin notes, and before Naruto can speak, the other titans finally return home. Dude, we got the pizza. BB calls out with said pizza held over his head, and Sai rolls his eyes. Starfire, flying into the room, quickly grabs Naruto into a hug as soon as she sees him. Friend Naruto, it is a pleasure to see you once more. You should come and visit us all more often, Raven's friend who is a boy. Star calls out happily and Naruto grunts, Raven growling when she sees this. Kind of possessive, aren't you, Card-chan? Naruto notes and sees Raven give him a look. Shut up. She inwardly grumbles, a blush on her face vanishing as she pulls her hood up to hide it. Star, could you let him go? He's still trying to explain about our enemies and their abilities. Robin pleads, and the princess blinks before nodding her head and releasing the poor blonde former nin. Thanks. Naruto offers, then clears his throat. The pink-haired bitch there is Haruno Sakura. She's a Chunin or middle ninja, and the apprentice to Senjutsu Nade, the current Hokage or fire shadow of the Leaf Village. She's also my ex-girlfriend who I caught cheating on me with Sasuke. Naruto growls out angrily, and Starfire blinks in confusion, while Robin frowns in obvious distaste. She actually likes that sociopath. He asks incredulously, and Naruto snorts. She's had a crush on him since we were in the academy. Naruto offers in response, and Starfire floats over to Robin. Friend Robin, how did this girl cheat on friend Naruto with another boy? Were they playing a game or something? Starfire asked naively, and Robin grimaced, and then pulled on his collar, while trying to think of a way to explain. Star, what are relationships like on Tamarin? Naruto asks, and Starfire turns around while crossing her legs under herself. Relationships? You mean like courting? Yes. Starfire asks, and Naruto nods his head. Courting is hard to explain. We Tamaranians are ruled primarily by emotion rather than logic. Repressing them is unheard of for my people. Thus, our courtships are normally very short. Starfire offers, and Naruto can take a wild guess that they merely ask one another if they are attracted to each other. I'm guessing you haven't had many suitors, huh? Naruto asks, and Star blinks. Oh no, I have had hundreds of them. I merely did not love any of them. Starfire offers with a smile and a shrug, and Robin gapes at her for a moment, unaware of that fact and making Naruto snicker. Well, that figures. Anyways, courtship in Konoha is the same as it is around here. I'm guessing since you guys on Tamarin are ruled primarily by emotion that you're all also polygamous, right? Naruto asks, and Starfire blinks, then frowns as she tries to figure out the word in Tamaranian. It means to allow more than one spouse. Robin offers, and Star makes an O with her mouth before giggling and floating into the air. Yes. That is very common on my world. In fact, it is almost required due to the fact there is only a fraction of male Tamaranians left after the Gordanian attack on my homeworld. The bubbly alien offers cheerfully, BB passing out and Cyborg's eyes wide in shock by her blunt answer. Damn, Iro Senin would kill to go there. Naruto mumbles with wide eyes, then sees the looks he's being given. Anyways, Star, is there some way to hurt someone emotionally on Tamarin, like being attached to one person, and then going behind their back to be with someone else? Naruto questions, and Starfire frowns, and then takes a thoughtful expression before scowling deeply, frightening Naruto slightly, as he's never seen her do that before. Unfortunately, yes. Garlocks. The defiled ones. They're ones who would use someone's emotions to get close to another, and then abandon them thoughtlessly. They're very rare and are punished very severely whenever they are found out. A person's emotions should not be used or toyed with. Doing such a thing to a Tamaranian is equal to what you refer to as a sin, and can gravely damage a Tamaranian. Star states simply, and Naruto chuckles nervously in response. That sounds like Sakura, right? She once made me promise to bring Sasuke back to her. I failed, of course, seeing as the only way to stop him would be to kill him. Then she said we'd get him back together. Well, long story short, we were in a relationship for a while. I was actually happy with her, even given the fact she punched and abused me for no good reason most of the time. And then when I'm in a hospital after nearly dying to save the team Sasuke, I wake up, then find her screwing him. Naruto explains, and then sees a blank expression on Starfire's face, before she snarls once more, both he and Robin taking several steps away from her. That little Garlock will pay, and pay dearly. Next time she is near me, I'll show her not to ever hurt any of my friends like that ever again. Star growls out angrily, eyes steaming green at this point, and Robin clears his throat to draw her attention to him. Star, calm down. Robin says, and Starfire nods while then dropping to the ground, teeth grinding as she stomps her way over to the sofa and sits down with her arms crossed, eyes still a blazing green. I didn't expect her to react so violently. Robin uses while Raven makes her way over to him and Naruto. Their people are ruled by emotion. To her, hurting someone emotionally is worse than hurting them physically. Doing both at the same time, well, let's just say I'd rather not be Sakura when Star gets her hands on her. Raven offers while floating over to the two, BB and Sai coming up from behind the couch. Dude, She might kill that girl if she fights her like that. BB says with shock in his tone, Sai nodding his head in agreement, Star turning to face them, and give them both a look of annoyance. I will not kill her, I'll make her wish for death. Starfire states angrily, and both boys pale while backing away from the furious princess. Alright, enough of that. Sakura has 2 things you guys should know. Wait, make that 3. First, she's strong enough to break solid concrete with her bare hands and feet. Naruto says, and Robin gapes at him, and then looks at him strangely. You said she punched you around, right? He asks the blonde former nin, and Naruto nods his head. Then how did you survive her? He asks seriously, and Naruto reaches up to rub his head for a short moment. Let's just say I have a very hard head. Naruto offers, and Robin frowns, before nodding his head. He could actually buy that. Anyways, she's also a med nin, and can heal people with some of her jutsu. If you fought her and didn't see this, she was probably tired and lacked the focus needed to do this. Naruto then explains, and Robin grimaces, seeing as that combined with Kakashi and Sasuke as heavy hitters would be a very dangerous combination. And the third thing? Robin asks, and Naruto chuckles nervously. She's got a split personality, and the other one probably still kind of likes me. He offers with a nervous grin, and Robin grimaces. That will be hell. What's the difference between them? Judging by how violent Sakura is, the other must be pretty calm. Robin uses, and Naruto tries to resist, but laughs at that assumption. No? Aine is more violent than Sakura. She's violent in everything, foul-mouthed, hot-headed, and generally wants to murder Sakura most of the time, and take their body solely for herself. Naruto offers, and Starfire crosses her arms and then hums. I wonder if I can hurt the Sakura Garlock without hurting the Aine girl as well. Star wonders with a thoughtful expression, and Naruto frowns in thought. Yes, actually. Aine is very resilient. From what I learned about her, she also likes to seal away abilities Sakura has, just so she can make her weaker. I tried to get her to stop, but she doesn't believe that Sakura deserves those skills. Hate to say it, but I'm glad she didn't unseal them now. She's also mostly separate from her, and doesn't feel whatever happens to Sakura physically, one of her main pet peeves I might add. Naruto explains casually to the alien princess, and sees her smile. Alright. Now Naruto, are there any more ninja in Jump City to worry about? Robin asks, and Naruto nods his head with a frown. 3. First is Hyuga Neji. He's a prodigy with the Byakugan or White Eye. It allows the user to see chakra as well as Tenketsu points in the body. Combining this with their gentle fist taijutsu style, they block these paths, allowing them to cut chakra off to various parts of the body. However, unfortunately for him, you guys don't have those since you don't use chakra. Naruto explains, then grimaces as he remembers who the last 2 nin are. Then comes Hyuga Hinata. She's Neji's cousin and the heir to the Hyuga clan. Unlike Neji and the bulk of the Hyuga, Hinata is very shy and nice. She once even said she loved me, but anyways, she's not like the others. Try to go easy on her, but don't take her lightly. Unlike Neji, she mastered her own special attack, which sort of resembles lasers that can cut through anything she forms with her chakra. Naruto explains and sees shock on Robin's face. She'll be a problem. He notes, and Starfire frowns. Excuse me, friend Naruto. Why is it you say Hinata said she loved you? Starfire asks, and Naruto clears his throat. Because she did. However, Hinata always tries to change herself to be with me. When she thought I liked long hair, she let hers grow out. When she thought I liked bold, confident girls, she tried to fill that role. Plainly put, Starfire, I don't want a girl to have to change herself to be with me. I just want her to be herself and be happy. Naruto offers an explanation, and Starfire nods her head. Thank you for sharing. She offers and then sighs while leaning back. Right? Anyways, last is Yamanaka Ino. She will be the tough one for you guys. Her family has specially designed jutsu that allow her to possess another person's body. Naruto explains, and Robin frowns deeply. Meaning if she did, she'd have all their skills at her disposal. That's a dangerous power. Robin notes, and Naruto nods his head before chuckling lightly. It is, but if you like me or Sakura, she can't do it. With me, I have a rather unique mental block, and Sakura has her second personality to fight her off. And when she uses the jutsu and is forced out of the body in that way, she's left relatively weakened afterwards. Naruto explains casually, and BB suddenly blinks. Dude, Raven could take her easy. He states and gets looks from those present. She's got like a dozen emotions in her head running around like spare personalities. Duh. He reminds, and Raven blinks, then slowly nods her head, before looking at BB with a surprised expression. You actually had a good idea. Your new girlfriend is already showing herself to be a blessing. Raven uses, and BB lets out an indignant hey, while Sai snickers and Starfire smiles. Anyways, those are the only ninja I know that are in Jump with special powers and skills, minus myself, and X, seeing as we aren't really trying to attack you guys or hurt anyone. Naruto offers, and Robin gives him a look, before deciding to let it go, and walks over to the computer. Right? I need to put down this information while it's still fresh. Raven, you can have the night off as promised. Robin says, and Raven gives Naruto a smirk, making the blonde chuckle. Thanks bird boy, let's go Card-chan. Naruto says and holds out an arm to Raven, the violet-eyed sorceress rolling her eyes as she takes his arm, and then envelopes them both in her cloak. Did you actually agree to give Raven a night off? I know you've been giving her some slack with dating and all, but normally you at least keep her on call in case of an emergency comes up. BB asks, then reminds with obvious surprise, and Robin nods his head. Those ninja. They're like other criminals. They're similar to ones I fought in Gotham, at least this Sasuke is. He has a total disregard for human life, all he cares about is getting more power. Someone like him being on the loose is dangerous. I'm hoping the information Naruto gave me will help me figure out where they're hiding out, so we can stop them. Robin states and BB frowns. Dude, why give Ray the night off then? BB asks and Robin sighs. She's earned it. He offers in response, and BB looks to Sai and Star, both shrugging their shoulders. She convinced him to come, didn't she? And I can tell you right now, he hates the thought of being in the tower for too long. Robin reminded then explained and BB blinked, then nodded his head. Good point. Man, for a guy who dates Ray he really doesn't like being in the tower for some reason. BB notes and Robin rolls his eyes. It's because he's a ninja. Former or not he doesn't like being so out in the open like he is in the tower. Sure, no one knew he was here, but to him the tower is just too big a temptation for villains to blow it up with a missile or something. Robin explains and BB make an O with his mouth. So wait, could some random villain just blow us up with a missile or something? BB then asks, and both Robin and Cyborg blink before grimacing. Oh yeah. Sai admits and Robin twitches for a few moments. Then why are we in a giant tower and not underground? BB then asked and Sai gaped for a few moments then cleared his throat. I'll explain it later. He says while waving the younger teen off. Like when I figure it out myself. He then mutters to himself while trying to see the logic of actually making a massive tower shaped like a capital T in the first place. Gotham City. That man stands upon a high rooftop, looking down at a crime scene with a frown on his face. So Two-Face left us a calling card, I see. Batgirl muses while landing on the roof, and walking to stand beside of the Dark Knight, the masked vigilante silently nodding his head. So what do we got on him? Batgirl then asks and Batman frowns towards her. The usual MO. He's hitting places that have some kind of link to duality, or just twos in general. Batman replies and Batgirl has to wonder about Two-Face's sanity once more. Then remembers the story about how he once thought he was some kind of a judge, and actually tried to kill himself as well as several other villains. Alright. So where do we start looking for him? Batgirl asks and Batman frowns in response. Nowhere. You're not coming. Batman states and Batgirl gives him a look. Didn't you get over this back when I first joined the team? She comments with a frown on her face and Batman gives her a look. Yes. And that's not what I meant. Batman grumbles out while turning around, the Dark Angel chasing after him. Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn are both still at large, and haven't made a single move since getting out. Batman states flatly, while reaching into his cape, and then handing a file over to Batgirl. Okay, so as per usual you're leaving it to me to track them both down. Batgirl guesses and the nod from the Dark Knight is the only answer she needs. Great, this'll be just like old times. Batgirl muses with a look on her face that says she'd much rather do anything else than look for the psycho blonde and plant-obsessed redhead. You're the one who wanted to be a plucky sidekick. Batman reminds the girl, and she grimaces, wishing she'd chosen her words better when she was younger. However, them being out isn't the problem. The problem is they haven't done anything in the recent crime wave besides letting all of those Arkham inmates loose. Batman reminds, causing Batgirl to stop and frown. Right? That is weird, and no attempts to find Joker by Harley either. She notes while jumping off the building with Batman, both landing in the Batmobile as its tank-like cover comes over both of them. So what do you think they're planning? Batgirl questions and the Dark Knight narrows his eyes for a moment. According to Penguin, they were looking for transport out of Gotham. By now, I'd say they're long gone. Batman replies with a deep frown on his face, causing Batgirl to blink in surprise. What? But where else would they go? She asks, seeing as most criminals stay in one city, to play the game with the resident hero. Not sure, but 2-Bit should be able to fill in the blanks. Batman replies and Batgirl grimaces once more. She had to wonder how 2-Bit had managed to gain his vast spy network, though heard his hearing was so good he'd listen to criminals, while they plotted and schemed, then used this information and slowly managed to build up his empire. So what does he want this time? Batgirl asks and the Dark Knight points to a black bundle beside of him. But that's... Batgirl starts to say with shock and Batman nods his head. He's wanted it for a long time. Looks like he finally gets to have it. Batman notes and Batgirl shakes her head before leaning forward and strapping the bundle to her lower back, while the Batmobile heads for 2-Bit's home. Tartarus HQ. Naruto and Raven both appear in the Tartarus living room, both noting that someone was sitting on the couch and watching TV. However, it was the fact that neither of them had ever seen her before. Yo. The girl offers with the rising of her left hand, and Naruto arches a brow. Who are you? Naruto asks, and the girl turns to him before tilting her head to one side with a raised brow. Why do you have one of the Teen Titans with you and who are you? She asks and Naruto twitches while crossing his arms. Red X, and because she's my girlfriend. He states with a frown and Donnie blinks for a moment, then looks at him, then Raven and lingers on the older girl. You look like Sam. She notes while pointing to Raven, making her arch a brown response. Oh, sorry. My name is Donnie, with an I, Phantom. Donnie offers with a grin and holds her hand towards a confused Naruto. Jinx is my adopted big sister. Donnie offers an explanation, since for all rights and purposes Jinx would be her big sister thanks to Snake. I didn't know Jinx had any adopted relatives. Naruto states suspiciously, just in time for the said Pinkette to walk into the room, frowning deeply and without her holographic disguise. Yo Jinx, what's with bringing the kid here, and where did the others head off to? Naruto asks and Jinx blinks before looking to Donnie and rubs her face. Snake asked me to take her in, said he'd give us some government tech to do it. As for the guys, they took Blackfire out to a club, Twila is somewhere around the base, and Mammoth is sleeping, and Gizmo is working in his lab. I decided not to bug any of them about meeting Donnie and let her watch some TV. She explains to her blonde leader, and Naruto raises a brown response. Alright, that makes some sense about where the guys ran off to. Kind of hope Blackfire isn't too much of a party animal though. Naruto muses then hopes and Raven shakes her head, feeling somewhat sorry that the Tartarus males have to deal with the Queen of the Galaxy. But still, Snake's a cop, and he's letting a band of known thieves take in an impressionable young girl, while also giving us government tech to do crimes with. Do the words "does not computer" mean anything to you? Naruto asks and Donnie snickers into her hands, a smile formed over her face. I said the same thing. Donnie offers the older teen, and Naruto reaches up to rub his face, then looks to Raven and sees an amused look on her face. What's so damn amusing, Card-chan? He asks his girlfriend and she chuckles. Oh, nothing. She offers while Donnie then flips over the couch and hovers in the air before a now shocked and wide-eyed Raven. Is she Tamaranian or something? Raven asks while Naruto blinks in surprise, then grins, adding another flying member to his mental roster for Tartarus. Nope. Heart Ghost. Donnie offers and the connection clicks in Raven's mind seconds later, making her grimace. Are you related to Danny? She starts only to stop when Donnie snarls and her eyes flare a luminescent green color. Do not finish that sentence. She warns while poking Raven in the chest, and the Dark Titan gives her a look. Alright, I think that's enough hostility. Naruto says suddenly, and Donnie huffs and crosses her arms. Okay, so what all can you do by being part ghost? Naruto then asks the young girl and Donnie blinks, before looking at him with a smirk. First of all, I'm a thief and I like doing that. But I absolutely hate the thought of being a hero or a villain for different reasons. Donnie offers and Naruto smirks, finding something he can agree on with the girl already. Add onto that I am part ghost, thus I can walk through walls, disappear, and fly, manipulate my ghost energy into different shapes, forms, and attacks, and I'm a force to be reckoned with. Donnie offers with a grin, and Naruto is silent for a moment, a thoughtful expression on his face. Alright, let's see now. I've got a girl here who can walk through walls, turn invisible, fly, and manipulate energy into attacks. She's also a tomboy from her actions, or at least less feminine than Jinx or Card-chan. Add onto that she hates both the hero and villain ways and... oh yeah, I can work with this. Naruto thinks to himself as an idea suddenly comes to mind, a wide grin stretching over his features as it does. Walk through walls, disappear, fly, and manipulate your ghost energy into attacks. Huh. Oh, I think I know what I'm going to do with you. Come on, we got work to do, Amato. Naruto says while grabbing one of Donnie's arms and pulling her with him, and making the girl give a startled yelp as he does, Raven and Jinx both blinking once the two are gone. Did I just hear him call her little sister? Jinx wonders and Raven decides not to think on it, before flying after them. Hey, wait up. Jinx says as she rushes after her crush, sister, and rival. That girl sighs to herself as she drops down into 2-Bit's home through the skylight in his study. According to rumor, he had had it made when Batman started showing up at his place for information, and didn't want to replace any windows. Looking around, she frowned upon seeing that the man was gone. Ah, Batgirl, I was wondering when you'd come. The said former thief announces, while walking into the room from what appears to be his bedroom. Closing the door behind him, 2-Bit then reaches up to loosen his tie and cracks his neck. So then, what can I do for Gotham's Dark Angel tonight? 2-Bit questions while giving a curt mocking bow, and loosening his cuffs at the same time, Batgirl merely frowning in response. The man can't see. Batgirl is painfully aware of this after seeing his eyes burn from his head with acid, but his hearing was supposedly as good as a bat's was now. Harley and Ivy escaped from Gotham recently. They also let loose several other inmates during their initial escape. Batgirl replies while walking over to 2-Bit, standing in front of him, while the man nods his head for a moment before turning and sitting down in a chair. But I suppose you already knew that, didn't you? Batgirl then comments, while crossing her arms, and 2-Bit shrugs his shoulders, the tiniest of smirks formed over his face. So what do you want? Surely you didn't come just to find out if I knew or not. After all, I am 2-bit, and I'm certain you've captured most of those escapees, though I hear Two-Face managed to make a grand escape. The man reminds then muses to himself, and Batgirl reaches up to rub her eyes for a moment, and then cross her arms over her chest. Where did Harley and Ivy run off to? Besides Gotham, neither of them have anywhere else to go. The woman questions then reminds, and 2-bit hums for a moment, before smiling towards her. Payment. He states, and Batgirl twitches, while reaching to a pack that was strapped to her lower back. Pulling it off, she reveals a black bundle, which she then unfolds, revealing it to be the cape and cowl of Batman, a spare one sure, but still worth more than a mint to some avid collectors. Why do you even want that? You already have one of his utility belts, and more than half of his gadgets in your stash. Not to mention one of my belts, one of Robin's, some of Hunter's, Spoiler, and Batwoman's stuff, and just as much of our own crap. So do you really need any more Bat-type paraphernalia? Batgirl questions curiously, though obviously a little annoyed with him, while 2-bit reaches out to take the mask and cape gently, holding it in his hands for a moment, before shaking his head. To tell the truth, when I was young I was a fan of Batman, even wanted to meet him someday. 2-bit offers, while standing up and makes his way over to a safe in the wall. Leaning towards it and listening, 2-bit opens the safe, before placing the cape and cowl away. If you were such a fan of Batman, why become a thief? Silence. Batgirl questions while using 2-bit's original name, the former thief smiling and shaking his head as she does. I guess I got tired of waiting and decided to go out and meet him face to face. And though I never did, I did get to play with you and your old birds of prey, for a good long while. 2-bit offers with an amused grin, and Batgirl frowns. So he decided to play the game as well, figures. She inwardly muses to herself while then crossing her arms and giving the former thief a look. Alright, you've got one more bat-themed knickknack for your collection. Now where are Harley and Ivy heading? 2-bit. Batgirl questions while crossing her arms, and 2-bit reaches up and rubs his chin for a moment. I'm guessing that Batman is still looking for Two-Face since you're the one to come here. He muses and Batgirl frowns, knowing he couldn't see her. Well anyways, and straight to the point. My sources claim that Harley is heading for Jump City with Poison Ivy in tow. 2-bit offers and Batgirl grimaces as the former thief rubs his chin for a moment. I believe that a Mr. Red X left a note to Harley, saying to drop in, if she was ever in town, and maybe they both might want to pay Robin a little visit as well. He offers to the Dark Angel and Batgirl frowns before nodding her head. Thanks for the information. Batgirl offers while making her way out of a window, 2-bit sighing as she does. Honestly, does no one ever come to see me just to visit anymore? He wonders mostly of himself, then shrugs his shoulders and makes his way over to a minibar. Thanks for listening. I do hope you enjoyed. If you want a next part of this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification, and also check out the other videos that I have created, and enjoy. See you in the next video. Peace.